I want you to connect to the database. So connect to the database you have. Okay, sir. Keep an eye. Yeah. Okay, so we began by the first two things we did in the database the first three things we did in database manipulation was creating of the database, which we already done, listing all databases, we have already done, deleting a database, we have already done, connecting to a database, we have already done. Now we are going to table manipulation, and we did creating a new table inside the database, and we say the command it is create table, then you specify the table name, students, and after that you put curly brackets, and then you can terminate. Okay, and by that it will create for you the database. And if you try to list all the database you have, you use \d, all the tables you have inside the database. And for our case, we have only one table. Now, a table cannot be complete not until it has columns. Okay? Because we said we cannot create a table without any columns in it. So after creating a table, we always create table with columns, because there is no table without any column. If it doesn't have any column, it's better you not create it. But we'll leave the first table just empty as it is, because we're going to do some more things with it later. But let's create a new entity in this database, and let's create a table for teachers. Okay. So go and create a table teachers, and now in this table we want to add now columns. We said we use create table, and we're going to use teachers. Then we have the curly brackets, and you remember we said that an SQL statement can only be complete only if you have you end with a semicolon. But if it doesn't end with a semicolon, you can still continue writing that SQL statement no matter how many lines you put in the shell. Okay, so in this case we'll write like this: create table teachers, then opening curly brackets, then click enter. Yeah, only the opening curly brackets, then you click enter. Now when you click enter, you'll notice a few things here. So after the bracket, when you click enter, the equal sign after the school DB will have changed to an opening bracket, right? We're using which database? What database are we using? Okay. Catherine, which database are you using? Yesterday's class, which database was it? Yeah, school management system database. Yeah. So that is the database that you're using. Yeah. Okay. So Catherine, which database do you have on your side?
Is the Facebook and the it's called what? Oh. Okay. Just have a message to what? School
There is a
DB. School
school
DB.
DB. Yeah, there is a database we created yesterday. Then we connected to it. I think it was school DB.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
we
So that is,
created and then changed the name.
yeah, we changed the name to school DB. Yeah, so that is the one we are connecting to. So, and after that, you're going to create now a table. So these are the tables now we are creating. And inside it, it's now when we want to create columns. Pardon?
Oh, school DB.
Vivian, you have the same school DB?
Yes, I have already connected to it.
Okay. So this is what we are trying to create. I can. But yeah. No spaces. Okay. There is no space. So slash backslash C. Kuna notes then we share. So you can always refer to them. You could drive. So this is what you're trying to create. So we have a database, which is this file, the entire file. Then now we are creating tables. So here we had a table called I think we began with students. These are the tables we are trying to create. Now we are creating teachers. Okay. We have students, we have teachers. So, but now in these students, we don't have any column names. Okay, so we leave it empty. But now we want to create another table, teachers, and here we'll begin with the teacher ID. Okay, we'll come and create another column name. We'll come and create, let's say, salary. We'll come and create a column name, which is age. But remember, we said that we don't do age in database. So this is just for an illustration. Okay. So this is what we are trying to achieve.
What does it create?
We're creating a table called teachers, and it has ID, it has name, it has salary, and it has age. Okay. So for now, we know how to create the syntax of creating a table. And you begin with a keyword called create, then you specify the table. So after that you put the opening bracket. Now, so if you want to create a table, the syntax is always create table opening bracket. Then now you declare column. So it's called column declaration. Okay. I'm having difficulties on how to maneuver between two computers. So just allow me to speak it out, and then later it's when I'll update the docs. So I'll create table teachers, then opening bracket. Now inside this opening brackets, now you declare columns. And you'll say the first column is the ID. ensure that everything is in small letters. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Use this. Connect to it. \C. No. Okay. The reason why you're having problem is also because you didn't practice yesterday. Yeah. Okay. So that is also the reason why. So let's just do this. Let me.
It's called the create table teachers. Oh dear, sorry, my mic.
No, I can't. So it is \C and school GP. The way, if you didn't do school DB, stick to what you did. So if you didn't do school DB, stick to what you did, because this was after all of us had already done it. So we've said that you begin with a keyword create. Table. Then we say teachers. Opening bracket. Now here we now do the column declaration. Yeah. So we begin with the ID. So this is how you do a declaration of a column. So you begin with the ID, which is the column name. So the first thing you do is the column name. Okay. Then the next thing, so ID space. Then the next thing is the data type. So you are saying that this is a person and is a male. So the data type of human beings is either male or female. Okay, so that is a data type when it comes to relation to human beings. So when it comes to a relation to a column, the data type of an ID, it is always an integer, right? So we'll say integer. So the reason why we didn't do data types in SQL, it's because they're always related to what we have already done in math, or maybe things like that. But we'll find more new data types as we go along, which we will learn. So here you say it's an integer. Now you can use capital integer. So umeconnect, angalia tu chenye nimeandika hapa, tumia chenye nimeandika hapa, ndio for \C then school db semicolon. The reason why we leave an open bracket is because we'll close it at the end. After doing all the column declarations, we'll close at the end. Okay? Pardon? Yeah, so right now we are doing column declaration. And we said we are referring to this sheet that I've already created here. So we had a database. For our case, it's called book 1. This one. So now we are doing this. So we had a table called students. Now we are doing a table called teachers. And in teachers, we have columns ID, name, salary, and age. So here we list teachers, the list of all teachers we have, their names. So we have teacher number 1, the name, Collins, salary, an amount, then the age. The next teacher. So what we are doing is now the column declarations. So we're beginning with the ID, then we go to the name, then the salary, then the age, and then we close that table. By doing that, it means that we have done a complete table definition. Okay, so right now we are doing column declaration. Okay, so we have an first column ID, which is an integer. Then you, after declaring that ID, you separate it with a comma. At the end, make sure you put a comma. Okay, so ID integer comma. Just watch because of time. So the next one, it is name. We have name. Yeah, it's not the same. So after one column, always put an enter. Just go to a new line. Go to a new line. We'll create another table so that we understand. So this one might seem a little bit strange, but we are going to create a new one of subjects. So name, and for name, it is always a string. There is no name that is numbers. But in Postgres, data types that declare strings are called varchar. It is not string. Okay, so varchar, but it's in full, it is called varying character. It is a varying character. Okay, so I'll explain that. So let's first ensure that our table is completely declared, and then I'll explain this word by word. Then the next one, the next column was salary. Now for salary, always ensure that your columns are in small letters. Please, just ensure that. Salary, and it is a salary, it's which data type? It's a numeric data type. You can say float. Someone can get 80,000 point something. I don't know if float will work, but let's try. Okay. Then the last one, it is age. And for age, it's an integer. So after you have reached the last column declaration, go to a new line, have the bracket and a semicolon. Pardon? Yeah, you can put it or you don't, because we don't have any other column following. So it's it's not a must you put it. No, I don't think if it will have any effects. So when you enter, make sure that it gives you this create table. So I want us to declare a new table, and then we go through this, what this table means. Okay, so I don't want to explain this first. So let's go to create a new table. Let's create a new table, and then I'll explain what this table means and also the other one. So let's create another table, and it is create table. We're going to say subjects. So we are creating a school management system. And inside subjects, we begin with the ID, which is subject number 1, and we'll say it's an integer. Then we create subject name. So these are rules of variable naming. So if it is more than one word, we use snake case. Subject name, and we'll say it is an varying character because it is string. Okay. Anything else you can capture in subject? Level. If it is a subject, it is hard, intermediate, or something. Okay. So for level, you can also say it's a varying character. So the guys who are online, I can't see your computer, so this is now the point you can shout in case you get an error, because I'm expecting someone to click enter and it doesn't say that create table. So Catherine, are you on the same boat as me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that's interesting. Vivian?
Why interesting? You're expecting me to be Anguka?
I don't want you to get in the first trial. Okay? I don't want you to get in the first trial.
Why?
Because you are breaking the rules of training. So Vivian, you also have the same?
Yes.
What about you, Solomon? Because I'm expecting a few errors, so it's better if you encounter errors, it will help us.
Yes, I'm still there.
Pardon?
Yes, I'm fair.
Okay. How did you write? Yeah. So after that, now you connect. So inside here, this one is slash D. So he use like I will complete students at first. So simply Collins. Collins can complete. Then try it after tomorrow. This one, let's do practice. Yeah. So I want you to create the some you don't get so I want you to create subject and create teachers. I think Streamyard in a project, so you can just use that. Angalia from this place, but Streamyard from Bookiboro. So from this place, so from create table teachers, ID, integer, name, worker, salary, and then age. So we are creating tables. So let's do something to check the ability of page so that you see how you can manipulate. Okay, so the error I expected us to have, let me just shout it out so that in case we bump into this error, we know how to solve it. So in most cases, or in some cases, someone might forget to put a comma. And that is what I wanted us maybe to encounter. So first of all, let's describe our table. And if you want to see how a column is, or maybe a table is, so you want to see how, what is inside your table. Because right now we have created two tables. We have created a table teachers with a few column declared, teacher, and it is ID, which is an integer, name, varchar, salary float, and an age, which is an integer. But now that is not a full table declaration, okay? That is not a full table declaration. We will add a few things as we go along. But this is a standard table, okay? If you declare this way a table, it will work, but not to perfection. So for it to work to perfection, we always introduce things called constraints, which you're going to learn as we go along. So that one is the next topic after doing table declaration. But for now, let's understand this. So we have also declared a table called subjects, and it is ID, integer, subject name, which is a varying character, and level. Either is beginner, intermediate, or advanced, something like that. So how do I know I've created a table, or how do I see the tables I've created? Okay, because I've created a table, but I don't have any way, best to what we have learned so far until now, that I can say that this table that I've created, this is how I can access it. We know it has created because it told us create table. So to see the list of tables you have, we say /d, /d. Let's try this first, then teachers. /d teachers. Remember, when you said /d, it listed all the tables. If I just say /d, it will give me all the tables, and it will tell me I have three tables. Number one, it is subject, student, subject, and teachers. But if I want to see a table, what it entails, if I want to see what I've already created, I'll use /d. Then I define, or I declare that table name, which is, the first one was teachers, then this one is subjects. But remember, this is Postgres. So how do you declare, how do you want, if I want to see the columns I have in a table in SQL, in MySQL, how do I do it? Because remember, we were trying to compare MySQL and Postgres, so that if you find yourself in that environment, you know what to do. So here we have /d, then the table name. It will tell you how that table is declared. So we have an ID. So here we have name, it is character varying. So when you say varchar, it is character varying. Then we say salary, we said it is a float. Now it gave it a type of double precision. So it means that that value has decimal places. The precision means just decimal places. Then age, we said it's an integer. So here it has converted it to an integer, okay? The same applies to subject, because here we have only subject name, character varying, and level, which is character varying also. So that is how you list, or maybe you show details inside a table. But remember, Postgres, it's a bit different to MySQL. Okay? So any suggestions of how you list, because we have seen previously in our previous classes how you list database, how you list uh, tables. So Solomon, tusaidie hapa. So how do you do it? Solomon, tusaidie. Any idea? Just tell us what comes in your mind. So it doesn't need to be correct. Vivian?
Should it be view or maybe so?
Oh, Solomon, yes.
Show column.
Should it maybe show or maybe view?
Show view tables, okay. What of you, Vivian?
Show table columns.
Okay. Catherine?
No idea.
No idea. Okay. So in MySQL, it is describe. Describe, then you say the table name. So this is how you will say describe teachers. Okay. So MySQL use a keyword called describe. So this means that what is listed here, you see it is /d. It is describe. Remember, listing database, it will be used /l. So /d, it is you're describing a specific column or a specific table, I mean. Yeah. So here, so you use the word, the keyword, the key describe. So remember that. Oh. Sawa. Okay, now I want us to try to changing the table name. Okay, I want you to try that on your own, just the way we tried changing the database name from test to school DB or something. I want you to try create a new table, or maybe let's use, just create a new table test. So let's create, because I don't want us to tamper with what we have already created. Create table test. Okay. And for this table tests, I want it to have subject name, student name, subject name, student name, and marks. Okay. So I want it to have three columns. Subject. We have already created a database called subject, right? We have created students. So I want us to create tests. But now instead of tests, we'll change it to marks. Okay. So we'll begin with subject. For subject, it's varying character. Then we have student name. We have varying character. Then we have marks, which is an integer. What do you mean nimepata syntax error? The problem with Postgres hauwezi kuja uedit chenye umeshaandika, so you need to begin afresh. Okay, now I want you to change tests to marks. So change that name from tests to marks. So I have here another table and I'm going to say marks. Yeah. Students. Or subjects. Sawa, so Vivian, tusaidie. Umepata?
Kiasi.
Okay. Cynthia, you've done it. But imework. Okay. Okay. So when you say D, it has what? So when you say the error ilikuwa inatokea wapi? And teachers, yeah. So when you say D teachers, it worked. Any columns? So it is an empty table because of that error. Okay. Yeah. You take this, yeah. So you'll have to add now. So we learn how to add a column inside the table. And then you add one column. Pardon? Yeah, it will formulate the whole table. That is why the first table, which was, if I just say /d, I think the first table we created was students. Yeah. So when we created students, we didn't have columns inside, right? Yeah. So we are going to add columns inside. Yeah. Because in most cases, that is what you do. You create tables, then you realize someone tells you, I want a new column inside the table. So you need to know a way in which you can add a column inside the table. Yeah. Captain, help us in this.
Repeat the question.
Help us in this, how to change text from that table text to marks.
Are we, so we are using it's called what? Alter.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me what to write.
Okay.
Already began it for you. So help me with the rest of the 99% of it. Yes.
And then the table name was test. And then
Test.
the name to what are we? Max. I hope so. That's right. April.
Semicolon.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So that is how you do it. So alter table. So if I just do \d, I can be able to see that marks has changed to test has changed to marks. So you use that alter table test. So this one already we did. Now I want us to, in the next 15 minutes, we have 15 minutes, then we're out of here. I wish we had more time because I planned for us to cover a lot today. Next week we have only 3 classes to complete databases, which is a bit, it will be a bit intense. Okay. So we want to add a column now inside the table. Okay, if I just say /d students, I'll be able to see that this relation students, so yeah, it doesn't have any columns, right? So how do I add a column inside inside the table? So try it out first. How do I add a column inside the table? The syntax is what I've already said. How do I add a table? How add a column inside the table? That is the syntax. So try it out and then we see. So we want to add inside this student, we want to declare this way. So a student is going to have an ID, is going to have a name, is going to have a date, an age. What else? Student wanagonga na nini nyingine? Yeah. Subject inaitwa nini? What are you taking? Course. Okay, so I want us to have this. So add these columns inside your table, in students table. So ID it's an integer, name it's a varying character, age it's a integer, course it's a varying character, and then faculty, it is a varying character. So, SM, faculty in school of or school bus department. So finally, it's the department, okay? So ID, name, age, school, and department. So define that, and then we're done. Pardon? Hmm? Mark. Okay. Mark organization I don't know, your sister. Yeah, so we need to equal So someone who has got it, so Catherine alitusaidia kwanza. So Vivian, tusaidie hii. Pardon?
Alter table.
Okay, alter table.
Students.
Yes.
Add ID integer.
Add ID integer. Yes, I'm waiting to you to tell me what I write next.
I didn't do it the way you've done it.
Okay, regardless, I don't want to confuse you. So just tell me, or you want me to do the way you did it?
But
Okay.
you can add.
Okay, sawa. If I just do /D.
No, as in I wrote all the queries.
Yeah. Not all the queries. Vivian.
Yeah, niliandika zote then ndio nikafanya hiyo /D students.
Okay, sawa. So niambie chenye ulifanya. Sawa, niambie tu tumeshaweka ID. So I want you to tell me what you wrote. Sasa tutaruka ID.
Alter table students add name virtual.
Okay, alter table students, then add name virtual. So ulikuwa na add moja moja?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sawa. Ndio hiyo imeadd. So pia hapa unakuja alter table students add. Ingine ilikuwa nini? Age. Who managed to add all of them as a bunch? You did it. Okay.
I tried and it refused, so I went the Vivian way.
Okay, so there is someone here who managed to add everything as a bunch, so you can help us, yeah? So alter table, students. So tumefanya the age, so I want the rest, the next two to be added as one. We've already added age, so I want to add course and department at once. Yeah. You did that. As you have said, you added everything as a bunch. Okay. So let's try this. Add. What is this? Course. Add course. Then add department. Medicine. Department ni worker. That is how you add as a bunch. Now, this statement you could have written it in one line. But now it appears more organized if you do in different lines, so that you can also read on your own. So. Solomon, tuko sawa?
Yes, tuko pamoja.
Okay, sawa. Aya. Now you can feel that you have created a school management system database. Yeah. You have the teachers, you have marks, you have students, you have subjects. What don't you have? Workers. Okay. So that was just how you create database and how you do table manipulation. So if I list my relations, I have 4 relations: marks, student, subject, and teachers. And also if I list, I describe students, I have that ID, name, age, course, and department. Okay. Now I'm sure right now you can create a Facebook database. Sindio? You can create the database, you can create table, you can describe those columns. I'm so sure about that. Because we've already learned how to add columns inside a table, how to add columns inside a table, how to declare, and all that. So I think by that we are a bit comfortable. I believe so. And unless someone has a query. Anyone with a query?
Yes, I have a query.
Yes.
Let's say we go back to okay. When we were creating tables, I am looking for yes. When we were creating tables, that table subject. Let's say you are now on the part of the subject name. If
Yes.
if you put subject as small and name as capital, and then you describe the data type, does it have any implication? Say subject in small letters, underscore name, and then varchar, but the name is in capital, but subject is in small letters. Does it have any implication?
So when you're declaring a column, so you want to say
Yes.
like something like
Subject,
subject,
then underscore, but name in capital.
name in capital.
Yeah. And then
So
varchar.
when you learned Python, unfortunate for you, you and Cynthia were not in that class. We say that there are 2 ways in which you do variable naming. So it is called a naming nomenclature, where you either use a camel case or a snake case. Okay. Now for a camel case, you declare the first letter of words coming after the first word. I repeat that, the first letter of words coming after the first word.
Okay.
An example is this: my name is. So the first letter of every word coming after the first word should be in capital.
Okay.
So that is what we call the camel case. But also we have another one called snake case, which is what we are using now in Postgres, which is subject name. Now note the difference. For the first one, we didn't have any underscores or maybe spaces, right? We just had it as one word, but now what separates words is the beginning of a capital letter of every single word. But now in Postgres, we don't use camel case at any given point, or we don't use anything to do with capital letters. Because Postgres assumes everything that is inside a capital letter is a comment. Yeah. So it will not, you will have hard time executing or querying your database. So it is better if you use snake keys, which is in this case using an underscore and everything in small letters. Note, if you use capital letters, you might still get the same result. But now, in some cases, you'll encounter a lot of problems. So to avoid the problems, just use snake keys. Next query. Solomon.
Yes. So maybe I may ask.
Yes, I knew you had a question.
Maybe at once.
Pardon?
Can you create tables once instead of now creating tables for teachers, creating tables for maybe students? Is there a way that we can create all of them at one time? The same way we have done for admin.
Hey, Solomon. Yani unatafuta shortcut tu kabisa kabisa. No, there is no way of declaring tables as well at once, because for every single table you need to declare its you need to define its columns. Okay, there is no standard way of defining columns that cuts across different tables. No, because they assume that different tables have their own needs, and the needs is the column declaration, which are of different types. That is why we need to declare tables, all tables differently. But if it's you can't do unless you try and formulate that, because you can also create a new database management system.
Okay, thank you.
So Vivian.
So kwa hiyo assignment yenye umetupea,
Yes.
like all those hizo arrows zote, hizo tables zote zenye ziko hapo ni tables, as in the database name ni Facebook, then all those are tables.
Yes, the rest are tables. Apart from just create everything in yellow.
Or tuache
Everything
hizo
in-
kama message notification.
Yeah. So do everything in yellow. Zenye si kwa yellow, don't do it. It means something else. It's not directly a table, but it's something in programming. So we don't want to go that direction. So I just want us to stick in databases, okay? So you just create everything in yellow. The rest, leave it alone.
Okay, thank you.
Cynthia.
So in that photo, so there's in that Facebook data, there is a photo, there's a network. Is that yellow or I'm the colorblind here?
I think
Where?
your photo is
Yellow. Huh?
faint yellow.
So pia tuna icon.
Where?
LEONE tuambie.
Ati nini?
Okay, we are saying
network iko in a faint yellow.
Okay, Solomon. Hata sikuwa najua ati hizi vitu zote ni yellow. Kumbe ingine ni paint yellow. So mi nasema hii yellow yenye mi najua, hii yellow. Mi sijui ingine kani yellow. So ladies,
oh, wow.
for the sake of men, we only know one yellow. So hiyo ingine hatujui. Yeah, so we only work with the yellow, yellow. The paint yellow don't do anything about that. It's something different. So,
Yes.
Tables and columns.
yes, so create all those tables and columns because tulilenga to create hizo tables. So we have a weekend. We have a weekend with us to create all these tables and columns. So do it with some coffee and some break because you might get some good errors now, the ones that we have been escaping in the live class. So try to do it slowly because it might take you some good time. Yeah, so on Monday, I assume that all of us will have the same. That database, Facebook database. Now, on Monday, we're beginning now data entry inside the database. Okay? On Monday, we are entering data inside the database. Yenye tumeunda hiyo pia school management. Sawa. Yeah, so we learn how to insert records inside the database. We learn how to delete records. We learn how to update a specific cell inside the database. We learn how to delete an entire column. We learn how to, let's say, a good example is this, like that an employee and the HR or maybe the finance decide to increase salaries from guys in finance alone. So it means that you're going to find people in finance and then increase their salary. So we are going to create those kind of scenarios, and then we shall learn how to work with that as we go on. So hopefully you will, by that time, the Facebook database in a information. So that on Monday we do that, and then when we have time, I'll show you how to pull 1,000,000 records online, and then you use it inside the database if we have time. Yes, Cynthia. Cynthia, you have a question? Pardon? Yeah. So, I think you're going to stop at that point. So you guys, we see you on Monday. But in case of anything, you can always reach out directly. So that you don't feel abandoned or maybe feel stuck by an error. So other than that, enjoy your weekend and see you on Monday at 5.
Good night.
A table within a table. Okay. Accounts. Yes.
So are you supposed to, when you read the adventure, are you supposed to have a few within a table, or you're supposed to just a few within a table?
So all those in yellow are tables, but there is something called relationships.
Yes.
Relationship between tables.
Yes.
So remember when you began the class, we said tables are referred to as relations. But now when two or more tables are related, they form a relationship in between. So all these tables are related. That's why you can see the arrows. Okay. So that is after we do the data entry part, after we enter data and all that, probably on Thursday, on the next class is on Thursday. On Thursday we shall do relationships, and then on Friday we shall wrap up. Yeah, so
But we have enough space on Friday.
yes, on Friday. Yeah. So
Leon,
yes.
next week chances are I might be coming late to class, so I'm ninajiripoti mapema.
Late by how many minutes or how many hours?
Not hours, but probably 20 minutes. I will be facilitating some workshops, so running between the workshop room and the room, I might take about 20 minutes at most.
Okay, so we shall always buy time for you. So we'll be doing some I'll always leave ourselves with some tasks that I'll ensure that we conclude in the first 20 minutes. So no worries, you will find us still not done. So probably our class will be beginning at exactly 5:50 or 5:50 to 6, in between that.
Okay.
Yeah.
From this,
Alright.
kuna profile, then after profile kuna basic information. So hiyo kuna table ya one, profile ni column. I think it's in column.
Okay, profile.
Profile, then from profile basic information, what's another?
Yeah, that is, we have a profile, we have a parent table. So that is referred to as a parent table. We haven't reached into relationships.
Oh,
But let me just mention this. Now, I'm being asked this if someone has not dropped. I think Vivian is the one. Oh, Vivian is still here. So someone is asking me that we have a profile. When you look at the Facebook database, we have a profile and also basic information. Now, the reason why I gave us this task is because I know all of us have interacted with Facebook. So I just wanted you to see when you feel that your profile table, how is it created inside the database? So that also for you, if you're given a data for employees, you can also relate to this so that you don't just dump everything inside one table. No. Okay? You'll have to split it into several tables and then create something called relationships. Now here, profile, basic information, contact information, personal information, jobs. So those are new tables related to one table, which is profile. Okay?
but now the current table is account.
So yeah, the parent table is account. All other tables below account are called parent table or no, child table or grandchild table. So yeah, so kuna ancestors table depending on where you have stood. Okay, so if your tables are in that level deeper, so it means that you have that kind of relationship.
So yote account ni table one, profile table two.
Everything in yellow is a table. So you have to create everything there.
So we do meeting.
Sawa sawa. So hopefully sasa understand your Facebook database. So okay, please, for the sake of Monday, please come when you're done. Come when you're done, not come. Only come when you're done. Okay, anyway, that was on a slight note, but just try your best and come when most of those tables are complete.
Leon,
Yes,
can you delete a database as in two databases at the same time?
delete two databases at the same time. You want to drop two databases at the same time. I don't think it's possible because, if you drop something, there is no reverse gear. In databases, if you drop a table, you can never find it. So imagine you have a database, a school management system. The school has been in existence since 1990. So it means all the students inside that school were stored inside that database. So if by any chance you deleted something by mistake, it can't work. So that is why they categorically used, you only delete one database at a time. So, Vivian.
Yes.
Okay. say that it is not advisable. Okay, you never had college. Next year we talk about the same age as today. Right? Even tomorrow you're not in the same age. So what you do is you store the date of birth. Yeah. The reason why we did that is because I wanted a short. I didn't want to go the long process. Okay, so
Leon, excuse me.
yes, you can update the date of birth from age to from int to date. Yeah, so you can change that data type. I think we haven't done it, but you can try it. So you change the data type from int to date. Yes, Solomon.
Leon.
Yes.
Nilikuwa nauliza, is there a way that I can disconnect from a database apart from switching to another database?
In Postgres, by default, you must connect to one database at a time. Every single time you connect to into Postgres, you need to connect to one DB. So if you disconnect entirely to databases, it means that you haven't connected to any database. So the only way to work with Postgres is to switch between databases.
Okay.
Because at Ukiona, the moment you connected, it went directly to Postgres, which Postgres was the default database that comes with the PostgreSQL. So you need to always connect to one database at a time, every single moment. So, but in SQL, MySQL, you can do that. You can disconnect completely from a database. Aya, class imeisha. Tukikaa hapa sana tutaendelea kuulizana maswali hadi kesho. Sawa? So, see you guys on Monday.
Okay, thank you and good night.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Good night too, bye.
Good night.
Okay, bye. That was talk hapa. Wewe Dalos, toka hapa ama tukutoe.